Maine and Mulberry Live explores the crossroads of modernization and small-town tradition, exemplified in Collierville, Tennessee. Host Keith Essery sits down with local entrepreneurs, thriving businesses, city officials, and thought leaders right here every Thursday at 8 a.m. Tune in and learn how a town comes of age with economic growth. Maine and Mulberry Live is brought to you by John Green and Company Realtors, building neighbors for 40 years.
Here's Business Spotlight from your local voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990. And here's your host, George Bryant.
Good morning and welcome to Tuesday. What Tuesday means is we're going to be Let's Talk Growth with Triumph Bank and our special host, Tracy Strickland, and she's got a great guest in today, Tim Clements, and welcome to the studios.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing
fabulous.
fabulous.
Little scattered showers this Tuesday morning.
Yeah, I saw that. You had your little umbrella up, and I go, whoa, is it raining?
What's the deal?
You can't call that rain, though. It's just a little drizzle.
No.
It dropped the temperature a little bit.
Yeah,
nice.
That's always a good thing. I know.
But we love this segment. This is a chance for us to talk about Triumph Bank, and it's a local community bank. You guys are spread out now, 4 locations throughout Memphis, been in business for 13 years, and just a really unique, special bank who has a great culture, and it is all about growth. And so, Tracy, what do you have on our plate this morning?
Well, it's an exciting week in the life of Triumph. Every time we come early June, tomorrow is our 13th anniversary. I think about when we've had Will Chase, our president and CEO, and some board members over the years, just what was going through their minds when they opened up the bank that very first day. What a brave move that was. We all know the financial climate. Back then, there were so many mergers and acquisitions with banks, and their vision was to start Triumph, to have it be a local presence for the city of Memphis. We're so proud as we have grown and obviously taken our tagline, Let's Talk Growth, to heart, that, of course, we're now in Middle Tennessee and have a thriving market up in there. But 13 years ago, it was an exciting day for those 14 people who opened Triumph. And, my guest, Tim Clements, and I joined the bank at the same year. He, I guess, had about 6 months on me. So he just celebrated his 6-year anniversary at Triumph, but he's had a career in banking. His entire career has been focused on banking. He is literally the ace in his field. We're just always honored to have him on the team because he truly brings a level of expertise that you just don't find anywhere else in the city. And so, Tim, number one, welcome, as always. I always get to, Tim's one of the busiest associates we have at the bank, and to get him over here, I said, I just need 30 minutes. You've got to tell the story, because what he does, his role at the bank, and I want him to talk about it, his title is Senior Vice President of Cash Management, but the things that he does and his team does every single day greatly affects every single customer, and I say it improves their financial life. So, for those of you who are not familiar with banking, when you think of Senior Vice President of Cash Management, you probably think that, Tim's managing the cash, and we were joking around, he's counting all the money. But Tim, clearly it's a lot more than that. So tell our listeners what that role means for you.
Yeah, I obviously get that a lot. Interesting job there, counting that money.
Yeah.
But no, it's really about cash flow. As opposed to, when we say we're helping you manage your cash, let's talk about how we can collect your cash, get it into your account quicker, make payments more efficiently, better use that money in a timely manner. So we provide the tools. We work with the account officers and really kind of sit with them at a customer site. And map out what they do. What is your business? Each industry is different in how they do things. The way that they receive money is going to be different. So we find the proper way to get, again, that money into the bank, into their account, working for them at a faster pace. And, Tracy talks about what me and my team does, but oftentimes we don't even think about the back office, people that I have to rely on. Once I get that business in here and get things moving, our back office is one of the best in the cities, and they really, we lean on them a lot and really help make us successful.
Well, I think that when you think about every person in that role. So we've got what you call the account officer, the lead banker in that position, that relationship. But you work not only with the commercial customers, but you also do so much with the retail customers. So when you're working with one of our commercial bankers, Tim, walk through that process when you're meeting with a customer that very first time, as far as the certain things that you see globally that you feel like most customers need that perhaps they're not getting at other banks, or maybe that we're able to provide at a little bit enlightened way that can really help their ease of business every day.
Well, I think one of the primary things that we bring to the table is our personal touch. We know that that we're there all the time. Our customer knows that it may be at the 11th hour that they need something done, and they know they can reach us and we can get it done. Something that a larger bank cannot do because they've got certain deadlines that they just absolutely have to meet. Not that we don't have to meet those deadlines, but because the way that we do it is much more efficient. We can take care of those things. But I'll go out and I'll sit down with that customer and just to open it up and say, what is it that really bothers you? What keeps you up at night?
Right.
That you can't sleep, that you say, gosh, I wish I had something that I could do this more efficiently, more timely. And so you'd be surprised how many times that just talking through it with them that we've got this product that can ease your pain there. Fraud is bad today. In all levels of business, whether you're a large company or a small company. I'm dealing with it right now with a smaller company, and we've got tools that can make them ease their mind when they wake up in the morning, and we send them a notice that says, hey, this is a check that we've been presented with, and it's not one you told us you wrote. What do you want to do with it? Return it. Very good. They're safe. At that point they're not out whatever the cost of that check was. That if they didn't have that tool, they find out a month later when they're doing their bank reconciliation, that's not my check.
Yeah.
So things like that, just making sure that we provide, soften any type of blow that they have that that they've encountered before. Because again, I harp on fraud, but fraud is just becoming rampant today.
What was that? What's the name of that service that you were talking about?
Positive Pay.
Right.
It's Positive Pay, and basically what we're saying is tell me what you've issued check-wise. Tell me what you're expecting to come in electronically, and if something other than those items come in, we're going to let you know. And you just we'll let you know via email, via text, whatever alert.
Yeah.
You just let us know.
When you mentioned there's some upgrades coming to that product, can you maybe
Yeah,
talk about
absolutely. Part of it is what I just mentioned, where we've given other media opportunities to get to you, whether it's by a text or an alert. Certainly on any mobile device, we can let you know so that you don't have to be in the office, because a lot of our smaller businesses, they're out on the road,
Right.
And they're trying to drum up business and still take care of back office business. So
Right.
that's one of the things there.
What other particular service do you feel like most of your business customers are taking advantage of that's helping them?
Well, mobile deposit is probably one of the bigger ones. That's where you can take a picture of a check with your mobile device instead of having to drop by the bank or be in the office and have to run it through a scanner. So a lot of salespeople that are out on the road that are collecting payments, they can make those deposits with their phone.
Well, and so many people think, well, I know that can happen on a personal level when, George, I give you a check or whatever, you can go ahead and cash it. But I don't think a lot of people realize that is definitely on the business level as well. And I think that that's what's so important, because so many, we pride ourselves in Memphis that we're one of the hotbeds of small business and entrepreneurism. And there's so many just one-off business owners that are so busy. Literally, the last thing they need to be worried about is who's stolen a check or who's trying to be fraudulent on my account. And, it's expensive to run a business, and you want to be able to focus on those things that got you excited about running your business in the first place. And so when you partner with us at Triumph, and particularly when you work with one of our commercial bankers and you have Tim be able to really consult you on what the biggest issues might be that you're seeing, that he's able to put together a custom-made product or a custom-made package of services that's going to help that business. So many of them are complimentary. A few of them are add-ons. But I know that one of the most important things that you work on that's a continual product, but I know we've worked side by side together on this specifically when we rebranded the bank 5 years ago, is the online banking for both business and the retail side. And so I'd love for you to dive in. We'll probably take a break in a minute, but give us a sneak peek on really the ease of use of our product.
Well, that is, you've said it the best, the ease of use. But that's one of the things that I want to make sure for both our business and consumers, to be able to go into their online product or their mobile app and make it as simple as possible to be able to get done what they need to get done. If they want to make a payment or just simply check their balance. We are upgrading both products. We take a look at that each year and add little features here and there, but also bug fixes, which come naturally through anything like that. But again, everything that we're doing is adding a step, or actually reducing the steps that it takes to be able to accomplish things such as making payments. And faster payments is what everybody's about today. How can I get that money to George, because I'm sitting here eating lunch with him and I didn't bring my wallet. Let me pay him. Well, I've got my phone. I can, push money to him real quick through Zelle, for instance. But anyway, we're adding to each of these products so that that it's easier for them to use and faster for them to either move or collect money back and forth.
That's
Well,
amazing.
it's so exciting. And it really, I love being able to walk a customer through our online banking. We were, I was with Holly Bronson, our medical banker, last week, and we had a new customer come in, and he talked about how literally I think everybody has their own banking personality. Some people stay on top of it every single day, and they're looking at it, and they're in their account either online or on their phone. And then some people, like this particular new customer, said, literally, I use my debit card, and when I get cash out, I look at the balance, and that's how much I know I've got. So I think we just know out there that no matter where you are, as far as what you want to use in your banking world. What our team's goal is to try to make everything as easy as possible. And we talked to him about being able to walk him through. He said, I'm not against using online banking. It just seems like, there's too much to it, or I don't know how to use it. And so I think the difference that you'll see with Triumph maybe compared to other banks out there is just how we walk that customer through. So when we have a new customer that you have brought on board, walk us through that process on how they get educated on how all those products work.
Yeah, and certainly we have the benefit in my office area that if a customer is coming in there, and that's where I'm meeting with them, I've got a large screen TV that I can walk them through each of the products and services. So when they leave, they've got a good understanding of what they're doing. We'll walk them through the mobile device, how to do that. And certainly if we're out at their office, we can do the same thing, whether it's on an iPad or whether it's on a large screen they might have. But we make sure that they see how easy it is to use the products and services. And one of the things that we do, these ancillary services that we've talked about, such as Positive Pay or the faster payment side of it, it's all integrated into our online banking. So they don't have different softwares they have to go to, different logins they have to remember. They're all within the same online banking portal or suite. And so it's just a matter of adding a link to it, and they just click on that link, and they're directly into the new service. And so, again, that ease of use, I think, is extremely important, and it helps the comfort level of the customer because, again, once they're having to get outside the box too much, that's when things start getting a little antsy.
I don't want to use multiple apps. I remember a couple of years ago when we first brought on what we call Card Valet, which was that extra service that if you have a Triumph debit card, and if you accidentally misplace it for a moment, you don't have to call the bank and immediately cancel it. There was at that time a separate app where you could open that app up. It'd be linked to your debit card, and you just wipe your finger, and it just turns it off until you can find it. And if you can't find it, obviously you go cancel the card and we issue a new one right on the spot. But now, a few months later after that, I could see that it was integrated within our app. So all those services are once you log in with Touch ID into either your personal or your business mobile banking at Triumph, so much of that is right at your fingertips that we've built, and Tim's been the conductor of that orchestra, of that. So we're so excited about those things coming to our customers.
We're talking with Tracy Strickland and her special guest, Tim Clements, and he is the Senior VP of Cash Management over at Triumph Bank. We're going to talk some more growth in just a moment, so stay tuned. You're listening to The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Triumph Bank strives to make banking easy for our customers. You have a lot of choices when it comes to banks, so we invite you to visit one of our local offices in Memphis, Germantown, Collierville, and Arlington to see for yourself how our team, backed by our state-of-the-art online and mobile services, can simplify banking for you and your business. Triumph Bank, invested in our communities and making banking easy for you. Triumph is a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender. TriumphBank.com. Let's talk growth.
Love everything about cars? Then check out my show, Auto Talk Live. I'll talk about everything automotive, from new cars to cool tech and car buying tips. Your escape from politics, reality shows, and everyday life. It's educational and entertaining. So join me, JP Palooga, every Friday from 8 to 9 a.m. for Auto Talk Live. Live on KWAM The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990.
Now back to Business Spotlight on The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Welcome back to the studios on this Tuesday when we're talking growth with Triumph Bank and special host Tracy Strickland. She is the Senior VP of Marketing for Triumph Bank. They do a lot of great things in this community. They are your local community bank. I want to give out their website because it's a great website. You can find a lot of information that we're talking about today. You can just click in and check them out, triumphbank.com. And the phone number to reach is always 901-333-8800. That'll get you in, and you can be helped start up a new checking account or get a loan for a new business or whatever. And you've got a tremendous team over at Triumph Bank and doing cutting-edge product. And their special guest today is talking about how he manages the cash, Tim Clements. Welcome back to the studio, guys.
Thanks, George. Well, having Tim in, I just don't think that I can brag on him enough on the expertise that he brings to Triumph. But one of the really important roles that Tim has is sits on some national councils when it comes to really seeing a lot of banking trends. So I know you went to a national banking conference last month, and I would love for you to share things in banking, especially on the technology side that you manage. It keeps your running shoes on a lot, I know. And I would love for you to share. I mean, it might be, somebody driving says, I'm kind of curious on, I see what a lot of the big banks are doing. What could Triumph bring me in the future that you're seeing?
Well, it was an interesting conference that I attended, and in our industry today, a lot of fintech companies, a lot of startup, small, entrepreneurs who are building. They're kind of competing with banking in that they're building payment methods through apps and things like that, and it's really been blowing up for the last couple of years. And of course, banks are trying to figure out where do we fit in that picture, because they're able to roll things out quicker than banks can. Just simply because of it's the nature of the beast, all the bureaucracy that gets in behind it and the funding that goes into these fintech companies. But so what we've done, it's been a challenge, but we're partnering now with fintech companies, which is going to benefit them because they still need a bank. At the end of the day, these fintech companies can't just pass money back and forth without it going through the Federal Reserve bank system. So we're partnering with them now, and we're trying to find the ways to most efficiently do it, and obviously ways that are protecting our customers' assets, because that's the biggest deal is that the fintech guys they're really smart. Don't get me wrong, because they're very, very intelligent. I could never compete with their mindset, but they don't think about the risk, and so that's where we come into play. And so you hear the term faster payments, and that's really the buzzword in the industry today. And there is a product called Faster Payments, as well as many of the others that are out there. So what we've done is we as an industry, are, as I said, are partnering with them, trying to bring their technology into us. So some of the software companies are acquiring those fintech companies. Others are just simply partnering with them. That's what our core vendor has done. Has chosen to partner with companies, and so they feel that both sides it's a win-win by them still developing faster. And us being able to take advantage of it and pass it on to our customers. But what that allows us to do is where 2-3 years ago it would take a day or two to get money to somebody. Now they can have it within seconds. All right. The downside is that while the sender and receiver see that money and the value of it immediately, the banks still have to sit on that and actually process that overnight. So there is a risk. While that overnight process is taking place, the banks are taking the risk. So that's where we have to determine our tolerance level and what we're going to do. It makes us accept more risk because we understand that payment. Right. The world expects faster payments today. So that's the biggest challenge that probably is coming out of that type of conference. And everybody recognizes it, but it's still the fact that payers expect to get that payment out the door quicker. The receiver needs that money. Perfect example is we've got somebody in the tire industry. They're making a payment to China. In China, they're not going to release the product back to our customer until that payment gets there. If that takes 2 or 3 days, that slows down the process. So, so the challenge is getting those funds moved quicker so the product and turnover of the service can come back and get back into the world. So.
This may be a silly question, but it's maybe more in my world, not buying big shipments in China, but, for example, PayPal. PayPal takes, a day or so for it to transfer the money over to your account. When you talk, Tim, about faster payments, is that an example that, that are we looking at, being able to get that money within 4 or 5 hours?
Yes, that's where you're going to see PayPal is going to be slowly forced to do that, and they're working with some of the other companies as well. They were technically one of the early fintech companies that the banks and everybody else said, well, PayPal will never work. You can look at it, years later, they're very big and very successful. But what's happened is the world's caught up with them, the newer technology, and so they are very much today involved with some of the faster payment stuff. So you'll see that turnaround improve.
Yeah, that's good. And is there any benefit for them sitting on your money? I always, like, for example, if I'm going to send them money and they've got it in their bank for a day or two, are they benefiting?
Well, they certainly are because, as with any company, and we would do with one of our customers, is while that money's sitting in your account, you want it working for you some way, whether you have it in some overnight investment product or whatever. So anytime somebody has money a day or two, that's value to them as opposed to the sender or receiver.
But hours, you can't can't make much.
Can't benefit a whole lot off a couple hours.
Not really.
So that's going to change their whole, like even in a PayPal business model.
Yeah, it changes the dynamics of the way things work. Certainly.
That's incredible. Well, I always learn a lot from you, Tim, every time you're coming in. And I know your team is growing. And just to be able, as we've expanded into the Middle Tennessee market, that has kept you incredibly busy because we obviously you were talking about the growth in Nashville of the medical industry, obviously the entertainment industry, the sports industry, and literally we have experts in those 3 fields that work at out of our Brentwood office. So I know we are always looking for ways that we can customize what we have now to be able to provide a more unique service, for our customers. So it's just not, you don't feel like you have to fit in a certain size peg when you're at Triumph. I think that's one of the unique value propositions that we bring to our customers is, first of all, we want to sit back and listen. You'll probably ask a bunch of questions, then listen, and then, take a couple of days to really analyze their bank statements and see truly what of our services are going to best improve their financial life. And that's our goal, is to create a peg just for them.
And many of our business customers are also some of our retail customers.
Yes.
In the medical side is a perfect example, because the doctor's practice, we have that, but they also have their personal banking with us as well. So we've got to integrate those together so that they can access either side of that banking relationship with us in an easy way. So I work very closely with our medical team in being able to provide that to them. And obviously they typically have a higher dollar amount that they're moving around the world than some of our everyday retail customers. And so we have to take that into account and put in certain parameters that will allow us to give them what they need when they need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Tim, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for sharing your expertise. It's always a wealth of knowledge, and I'm so glad, so honored that you're part of our team, and all the great things you do at Triumph. George, I do have to make an announcement for all of our listeners out there that we are, you always tease me about how we have ice cream in the branches, but so to celebrate our anniversary month in June, all of our various branches, our Memphis area and our Brentwood, will have ice cream, starting with our Poplar office. So at $56.99 Poplar, right here at Poplar 240.
Awesome. Man, that's right around the corner.
I expect to see you. Yes, right around the corner.
What
Friday,
kind of ice cream is it?
It's Ben & Jerry's.
Oh,
yeah, it's the good stuff.
Boy, that's top of the line.
This Friday, June 7th, from 3 to 4:30, right here at Poplar. Come by and see our team there. You better be making a note, George. I'm expecting to see you. And then we'll be in Arlington next week, and then the week after we'll be in Collierville and Germantown, and then the last week of the month, our Brentwood team's going to do something special for their customers.
That is awesome. And so all the ice cream serving time is after 3?
Yes, 3 to 4:30.
That makes good sense.
It's
That's
just
kind of
a
like
little
on the way
afternoon
home.
snack. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Bringing the kids at heart. Please come join us.
Sounds great. Well, congratulations. You guys do a great job and really good for the community, and we appreciate all that you do. Triumph Bank, you need to check them out, help them celebrate. They are at triumphbank.com, 901-333-8800. We'll be back next Tuesday at 7:30 for Let's Talk Growth with Tracy Strickland. You're listening to The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.